We are amazing because our passion is limitless and our drive is intense. Therefore, you will not deny our grind. You are now listening to the Faith, Grind, and Inspire podcast.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Gene.
And this is Jeff.
This is Nkechi.
And today we have a very special guest.
Yeah.
Our little man right here.
In the background.
In the background, 12 years old, pianist, right? From Mount Vernon. I love this.
Right.
So we have some
Nkechi's son.
Nkechi's son.
Uchenna.
And so, yes.
He's playing for us today. We got a special episode. Lighten up your heart. You know
Light
what I'm
up
saying?
your heart. I love it. So this is the vibes right here, man. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
And we're inspiring the youth. We're inspiring everybody. So tune in right now.
Yeah, she's a mompreneur.
Yes.
Mompreneur.
This episode, we talk about being a mompreneur, quit smoking, and the mindset of bringing up the next generation.
Yeah.
I love it. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another great episode of Faith, Grind, Inspire. I am your host, Gene Alert.
And I'm Jeffrey Patrick, the co-host with the most and the toast, you know.
And today we have a very special guest.
Yes. Go ahead.
Nkechi Nwachukwu.
Nkechi Nwachukwu.
Yeah. Yes. So thank you for coming on to the show.
Yeah.
Fabulous. Good
Right?
morning, everybody.
Entrepreneur, mom, lawyer, attorney, president
of the Toastmasters Club.
Mount Vernon Toast.
Mount Vernon
Toast.
Yep.
I think you're the first person from Mount Vernon here.
Actually, Jeff might be the first person because you joined probably about a month ago.
No, I'm saying from Mount Vernon.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
From the actual city of Mount Vernon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Money earning Mount Vernon.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
Where my man
Represented.
D.
My man, Heavy D.
Heavy
you know what I'm
D.
saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
Mount Vernon has a very rich culture.
Yeah.
Sports, entertainment,
Denzel's
everything.
from Mount Vernon.
Yep.
too.
Yes,
Boys and
yes.
Girls Club. Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell us about yourself. Where you from?
Born and raised in the Bronx,
Okay.
New York, Bronx Lebanon Hospital.
Okay.
Nigerian blood runs through my veins. I'm the youngest of 3 children.
Nice.
I'm the
Brothers
only
and
one.
sisters?
Older brother, older sister.
Okay.
I'm the only one that was born here in the U.S.
Okay.
Dad immigrated first
Mm-hmm.
during the Biafran War in Nigeria. So my older brother and sister were actually there with my mom and grandmom, and they were refugees actually on the run. So, and when you talk about entrepreneurship, that reminds me of my mom. In order to make money during that time, all she had was a radio, and she would put it out on the street for anyone to come and purchase to have a little money. But every time somebody would come and look at it, she was so shy, she would turn and walk away and wouldn't make the negotiations. So we've come a long way from there. We all made it.
So she never sold the radio.
She never sold the radio. She was too shy. She was too shy to actually go into business.
Yeah.
So, but here I am.
At least you put it out there.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, she put it out.
Exactly.
She had the mindset, but it was just like
Exactly.
You need that.
Yeah,
Encouragement.
Encouragement.
And that's how it goes. You plant the seed, and then down the line, somebody else picks up the ball.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So you're the entrepreneur in the family.
I am.
Are you the only entrepreneur?
She's an attorney. Tell him you're an attorney.
I know we get to that. We gotta walk into it.
I
man.
think we've always tried. My dad has tried a couple of pursuits. Actually, he had a health food store on Gun Hill Road.
Okay.
Right across the street from Evander Childs High School. Mm-hmm. It was called Bright Life Nutritional Center.
Oh, yeah.
So, he was very instrumental in health, fitness, wellness, things along that line. So he had a store for a few years. He also tried, I think, selling rubber. I remember growing up, there were always these bars of rubber. From Nigeria. And I think he was either trying to wholesale or something like that. I don't know exactly what happened. But he always, stuck his toe in the water. He stuck his toe in the water. So.
Well, those are the seeds.
Exactly. Exactly.
So what made you fall in love with law?
Because I wasn't so good in chemistry. I actually started in the medical field.
Right.
Sophie Davis biomedical program at City College. I think that's like from high school into college. And if you make it into the program, you do med school and college rolled up in one. But chemistry was a foreign language to me. I don't know. I think I managed to get a C, and I was surprised. I was like, you sure? Because I really don't understand this. It's like a totally different language. But I love to read and write. So I said, let me just play off my gifts. We're kind of the typical Nigerian family, doctor, lawyer, engineer. So I was like, okay, I'm not doing doctor, but I can do the lawyer.
Yeah, same thing.
Same thing?
Same thing.
Okay.
Yeah, you had to be one. You had to be one of those three. And then if you were a nice kid, you could be a nurse.
Okay.
or an accountant.
Yep. Exactly. My mom's a nurse. Yeah, that's how.
Yeah, see, my mom's too.
Put us through college.
Biochemistry is like it's the tipping point for a lot of medical students. You know, if you can't get organic chemistry and biochemistry, those two things eliminate.
She said, she doesn't even want to talk about that.
Yeah, I know. It is tough. Those are the difference makers in med school. Anyway, let's go on and talk about some business, right?
So,
go ahead.
My business is my law practice.
What kind of law do you practice?
Land use law. Not many people, it's like a little esoteric area of the law. But it's zoning law, planning law. Basically, when a developer wants to come and build something in the city and they need to get approvals from the government, I represent the agencies, the government agencies that review the plans.
So you work with the expediters?
I work with the planning board, zoning board, architectural review board, and it's very interesting.
That is very interesting.
She's you did a speech not too long ago on big numbers, are afraid of big numbers, and I thought it was a very interesting speech, and it was very eloquent, of course, and you talked about why we shouldn't be afraid of big numbers, right?
I like that.
And the reasons why they make us think in a different way.
Yep.
Big numbers like $50 billion.
Let's talk about it. She's working with developers. When you talk, that type of real estate is totally different than selling like a two-family house.
Big numbers.
In Queens.
I was like, whoa, big numbers.
I was like, okay.
And how you met? You go ahead and you tell the story. I don't want to hog it like Bree does all the time.
First of all, the speech, when you mentioned that I was doing the speech, that was at our Mount Vernon Toast meeting. Anyone in the lower Westchester area, Mount Vernon Toast.
Bronx.
Exactly, Bronx. That's true because we have some.
I'm from the Bronx.
Oh, okay, I didn't know.
Yeah, I'm from the Bronx.
Every second and fourth Thursday of the month, we meet in Mount Vernon, 7 p.m. to about 8 p.m. So, and Toastmasters is a very organized fashion of developing your voice, which is why I'm here. I'm here to practice my voice. Again, as an attorney, I like read and write, and I was always in the back office. I can write excellently, but when I became an entrepreneur, I realized I need to also speak. Not many people read. So I have to be able to connect by speaking. So that was one of the reasons I joined Toastmasters. And that particular speech was why I'm not afraid of big numbers. The backstory to that is how many years has been? Decades now that I've been an attorney, and I'm still carrying my law school loan.
Student loans, Gene.
I know.
Listen.
I know what that means. Are you serious?
And it's actually because of the way I've managed it. It has actually doubled.
What? So
it's more than 100,000. But the hope, for years, something in my mind has always told me, you are going to pay this off in 1 or 2 checks. I'm on the installment plan now, but something said you're going to pay this off in 1 or 2 checks. And it was a discussion with my uncle. And then it clicked. I was like, oh, that's how this is one way I can do it. That's one way I can do it. He basically was into real estate, and he mentioned a multi-unit building that was throwing off about $15,000 a month. And I was like, so if I get myself an asset that can throw that off, and I do what I'm doing to make income, we can totally put that aside, and within a year or two, why wouldn't I be able to pay that off?
Big numbers.
So
yes.
So it's not billion,
you gotta
but
see
for
it.
somebody who's starting off at that level, I was like, okay, because normally I would think, okay, 1 family, 2 family, 3 family, maybe.
Right.
But when he's talking about bill, and he was giving me addresses, he was so
$1,400 units. 1,400 units, I should say.
Well, what's sticking in my mind is 13 unit. Again, when ideas come into my mind, I no longer ignore them. You know, there's a saying that says it is God that works in you both to will and to do his good pleasure. So when a thought comes in, I'm like, let me not just dismiss this. Why am I thinking this? And I start acting on it as an entrepreneur. So 13 unit seems to be the thing. Again, I don't know
When I was... Sorry, go ahead.
No point from A to Z, but let me just get from A to B, and then I'll know the next best step and get from B to C and so on and so forth. So
I might be a good connection for you then.
Hey, wonderful. Oh, okay, wonderful.
You want to hear something that happened to me when I was younger? I might have been like 21, 22. I met this little Jewish man, right? And I met him through a colleague of mine, and we started talking. And he told me something, but he had a 326-unit building.
What?
Right. And he was like, listen, if you could get me $500,000, I'll let you have it.
What?
Yeah. But at that age, I was thinking, where the hell am I going to, you know, and I wasn't even thinking like it was in the Bronx too, man. And when I think back on that, I'm like, daggone, if I would have just, you know, and I never even thinking about it now, I'm like, wow, man.
That's why I thank you
Big up to my man Serge, you know what I'm playing. I used to play dominoes with.
Man.
Yeah,
He bought it? Somebody else bought it?
Yeah, he bought it. Somebody else bought it. And
one of your friends bought it?
Well, he wasn't my friend, but...
Somebody in the circle.
He's such a friend now.
Yeah, he was domino player guy.
One of the domino players bought the building.
Yeah.
Jeez, man. He hit the lotto, bro.
He hit the lotto, B. 526 units. I mean, 326 units.
That's amazing.
326 units. Building in the Bronx. Right off the Bruckner.
Wow. That's good.
They call that transit-oriented development these days, right next to the
highway.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know he's living that up now, man. Last I heard, he was in Hawaii or some craziness.
Okay, why wouldn't he be?
Playing dominoes.
Say, where that idiot Jeff at?
Thank you. He's like, thank you. Anyway,
but that's actually why. So thank you all for allowing me to invite. My 12-year-old is off camera now. Hopefully you'll see him on camera. But that's why I'm trying to get these thoughts and conversations started early.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So he's in 7th grade or 8th?
He is in 7th grade.
7th grade. Years old.
Yep, in the Performing and Visual Arts School. He's a pianist.
Where's that at?
In Mount Vernon.
Mount Vernon. Is it Mount Vernon?
Yeah. For me, Mount Vernon is a place where dreams come true. Honestly, everything.
Hey, man.
I should move from an employee to an entrepreneur. I didn't change my house.
Yeah.
He has roots there.
Mm-hmm. You know, Mom went to Mount St. Michael. He was 2 years ahead of me, I think, when I was at Mount St. Michael. But then, you know, Mount St. Michael High School, I never really knew like that. You know what I'm saying?
So
more money.
Yes, I want to know about the big numbers. Like,
more money.
So tell us about the speech.
That was the crux of it. That was the crux of it. You know, I went into the backstory of the conversation I had with my uncle. And that's just how I realized some people might look at that amount. And one of the things I mentioned is, you know, I know people who, because of debt, you know, have actually considered suicide. They just don't know where to put that. It becomes such a weight and a burden. So a number over 100,000. But now I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, within a year, you know, if I work it right. So I'm looking for a coach, actually. I'm looking for someone to coach me. I'm moving. Now that I have my practice going, I'm looking to get into real estate. I got my broker license. Again, that's another thing. As an attorney, you're automatically qualified, but I haven't done anything with it because my mind wasn't there. So
see what I'm talking about? When your mind ain't there, man.
No. That's why it's in
business tip of the day. Get your mind there.
Yeah. I was having this. I got a text message from one of the supers in one of the buildings that we have, right? And, you know, because I let the podcast, you know, I send it to him every week for like the last almost 2 years, right? And I don't know if he listens to them, you know, because he's always running around. But he sent me a long text, and he said, "Good morning, Jeeve. I really want you to know this." He said, "The people that you have on the show, they're not coming on the show to inspire like themselves. They're inspiring some other person outside, like me, that they don't even think about. Like you pass them on the street.
Exactly.
These are the people that you're doing it. This is why you're doing the show for." And it touched me because I didn't know that he actually listened, even though I sent it to him and, you know, through passing. Shout out to CB, man. So thank you.
CB.
Yeah, CB, man.
What up?
He helps a lot. He helps me a lot. You need a super when you going through the trenches, man.
Yes.
Like,
I'm gonna need
dealing with tenants, dealing with, you need somebody like that knows the neighborhood. You need somebody. So shout out to CB, man. So
CB, good.
And thank you for the message. I hear you.
I got some feedback too on the show. Somebody said, "Listen, one thing I like about Faith Grind Inspire is that it's ordinary people that y'all have coming on the show. You know, it's ordinary people doing wonderful things. Yep. So it makes me feel like, wait a minute.
Yeah, I can do it too.
Yeah, these are just some people that these guys, we real.
And that's the point, you know? Like, that's the point. Because you're a mom, you're an entrepreneur, you're an attorney, your clients know you, but other people, if somebody was just walking by, they wouldn't know.
Right.
They wouldn't know your story, your journey, you know, like...
You got big numbers on the mind.
Big numbers on the mind.
But I started as a stay-at-home mom who was crocheting for a hobby.
Really?
That's how I started.
With a law degree.
Exactly. I had resigned from my 9 to 5 because for a couple of years I just felt I need to pour into these children. And the thing that bothered me most was in the summertime, I would still have to wake them up early to hustle them off to camp so that I could go to work. We just weren't spending time together. It's like they can't even sleep in. Right now they're 12, 10, and 8. So about that time, he was like 9, 7, 5, something like that. So I had resigned and homeschooled them for a season. And when it came time to re-enter the workforce, I was like, what can I do besides a 9 to 5? And that's when I thought business. Yeah. And I had been crocheting. You know, if I took them for music or whatever, I would crochet. And I made scarves. They all wear the scarves I made them, and hats and bags and stuff like that. So I said, well, let me sell.
Make me a scarf.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Is this part of your regular? You like scarves?
Yeah, I mean, of course, you know. I like to look good.
Colors. Okay.
Bree. Hater.
So I said I was going to sell scarves and things like that. So I went to, it's called SCORE. It's free business mentorship, like Service Corps of Retired Executives. I was going to the White Plains one. And that's when I got the idea, well, I'm not going to sell individually. I'll sell in bulk, like to a team, do their like winter scarves or things of that nature.
Yeah.
But with crocheting, one, it's time consuming. And then the way the yarn feeds over your finger, it started becoming like a little painful. I said, well, I'm not going to do this. But taking that bulk buying idea, that's how I connected with the government. And so it's not even, don't get hung up like, oh, she's an attorney or, you know, she can do business. It started as a crocheting, homeschooling mom. Wow. So whatever talent you have, just see what you can do. Take the next best step, which was checking in with a mentor. And he shifted me this way, and, you know.
That's amazing.
Mentors are important.
They are.
Coaches,
they're important. People don't believe it, but
that's so cool, man.
I'm telling you.
What I thought you were going to say was, you know, I worked at a law firm for many years, and I decided to go on my own. Like, I wasn't expecting stay-home mom, crocheting. That's
threw Gene off.
Threw me off.
Yeah. Yep. And that's why
I love it.
A phrase that I'm really into now is hearken diligently.
Okay.
Hearken diligently, because everybody's path is not the same. You know, like my son might be a pianist, so he has to, what opportunities are there for him? You know, I might crochet. What opportunities are there for me? So you kind of just have to listen. What are my skills? And as we're talking, I'm hearing you now, like we have to connect. You listen. Mm-hmm. There's no playbook, and you usually don't get the whole plan. Again, it's just from A to B. And listen, okay, this way. All right, okay, now I'm going to go right. Okay, now left. And just hearken diligently, take it step by step. And
yeah, man,
you're still on the journey, but you're not back where you used to be.
That's the clip.
It's called the Moonshot Scholars Program, and it's a program by Touro College, and what they do is they look for students who are looking to be entrepreneurs and who are looking to do business in different sectors, not only medicine, but although medicine is a major part of it. And one of the things they spoke about last week was choosing your partner. How to choose your partner, because it's like a marriage, and once you pick that partner, I guess Jean's my partner. And then you know it's very important that you understand what you can do with your partner and how you can hearken to a certain, you know.
Yep.
So, business tip of the day again.
I love it. You say something, see it, write it, say it.
Yes.
Talk to me about that.
That was a workshop, or is a workshop, that I developed and created. Mm-hmm. Those are the principles that I use. See it is about, and let me just pause and give a shout out to, I also have a coach, Coaching Essentials, Vivian Weche.
Vivian.
Yes.
Miss Vivian. I like her already.
So it was part of practicing my voice, and in the 6 months, it hasn't even been 6 months, I've done like so much, and this workshop is just an example of it. And it's just the principles. The see it is just being able to see the possibilities, and that came up with my kids. I was driving when they were in a private school before I started homeschooling. There was a mom who had an accident and needed me to bring her daughter home. So I brought her daughter home. The mom came out to the car. We're chatting, and she's saying, you know, I have limited mobility, but I want to make some money, and I still need to be here as a single mom for my daughter.
I hear her.
Things of that nature.
Yeah, I hear you.
So I was like, what do you like to do? And she mentioned she likes to cook, and I was thinking catering. And then, what else do you like to do? She said, well, I like to drive. That she had shuttled somebody to get groceries and things like that. I said, well, have you considered like bus driving? That way your hours can work with your child. And she said, you know what? I was considering getting my commercial driver's license. I know there's a science behind it. I think I did a speech on that too, and I learned about like the hippocampus part of the brain.
Yeah, we could get into all of that.
Okay.
But, you know, they don't want to hear from me. They want to hear.
The last part was just say it, because some people are like, yeah, you can't tell your big dreams to small-minded people. I'm like, listen, just say it, because like the superintendent, you never know who's listening.
It's true.
I had, when we're thinking of, you know, getting a house, they like, my sons at this age, they like to climb trees. And there's a particular tree that is just a climbing tree, the way the branches grow. And I was at a park with my niece, and I was like, what kind of tree is this? When we have a house, I want this tree. It's like, oh, my flat, she was from Germany, my flatmate, she can look at any tree or its leaf and just tell you what it is and things like that. So if you just speak what you want, who would know that somebody visiting from Germany has a roommate who can do exactly what I need? So you just have to talk. You have to talk about it.
It's true.
Yeah.
I want to talk about, because it's cool, because when you meet people, some people make excuses for everything. You know, so for example, oh, I can't be an entrepreneur because I'm a mom. I can't be an entrepreneur because I'm a dad. I can't be an entrepreneur because I'm a single parent. I can't be an entrepreneur because I have a kid, right? But you're a mompreneur, right? And the interesting thing is right here, you're involving your kid in your work and your business. And I want you to talk about that because I know that you want to help them become entrepreneurs too, right? So let's talk about that a little.
To all the parents and people who think you may be old, I would just say give your ideas a chance. Give your ideas a chance. Because the reason my son is here is because I was giving my idea a chance. I joined Toastmasters because I would literally like lock up when people ask me a question because I'm trying to think like I write. When you write, you can edit, take this out, and present a final product that's perfect. When you talk, once you say something, it's out. So I would like literally lock up when somebody asked me a question because I'm trying to get it out right. So I joined Toastmasters, and that's where I met Jeff and other people like that, and which led to this podcast. And of course, I'm bringing my son in.
Yeah, and we have a special performance coming up. So we have two more questions, right? So one, I want to give a shout out to your husband, right?
Oh,
because this is right. You can't do anything without him.
Oh,
the support.
He's the support.
Choose your partner.
He's
the partner. Yeah, the partner.
Choose your partner.
Yeah,
choose
he's
a good
the
partner.
Yeah, like Jeff said before.
Hear that, Brie? Choose a good partner. Okay?
Yes.
I couldn't. I really couldn't. Because again, when I resigned my job, it's not like I gave a lot of notice. So notice to the job is one thing. Notice within the household is another. So it's not like we were like stashing money, ready. Yeah. Okay, we got this.
Yeah.
I was like, babe, this is it. This is it. And, it threw him for a loop.
Yeah.
But, he kept the fridge stocked, roof over our heads and things like as he was battling with it, what is this? And I wasn't even on entrepreneurship then. I was just homeschooling mom.
Yeah.
And then now, okay, you ready to re-enter the workforce? The kids are going back in school. Yeah, but I want to try it this way. And he's just been, rock solid, even when he doesn't understand me.
Yeah.
I couldn't be here. He's going to pick the kids up from school today. Yeah. So, he makes it possible.
I love him.
Drove us in the snow.
I love that.
Shout out.
I love that guy. He's
so
a good
thank
husband.
you. Oh, beyond.
Nah, he's a good
I have to catch up.
You got to give him an award. My wife gives me an award at the end of the year. For real. It's like don't let him listen to this. Just surprise him. It's a Husband of the Year award, and it's like a crystal award. I get one like every year.
All right.
She makes it. She creates an award. She gives it to me. She presents it to me.
That's
but
nice.
I just got one this past Christmas.
Nice, Gaina.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jeans.
It was her. Yeah, it was her. Yeah, talking to existence. You gotta see it. You gotta write it down. And she saw it, and she took action.
Well, there's
right.
You know what I'm saying?
You see, there's a design thinking theory. Design thinking theoretically really means how you change things, right? You design thinking with your brain, and it goes through these phases or these spaces, and it goes through the inspiration stage, because that's why you come up with the idea like, I need a gift for being, you're inspired. Something has to inspire you. And inspiration can be a problem that needs to be solved, or it could be an opportunity for you to take advantage of in certain ways. Right, so you got to get inspired. There must be some inspiration, and through that, now you begin the ideation. The ideation phase is where you actually look for the solution or the answer to the questions that you've been posed in the inspiration. You see what I'm saying? And then it transitions over into the implementation. Once you go into implementing means actually putting what you have just come up with into existence. But here's the thing, it must be feasible. Okay? It must be feasible, and it must be done as simply as you possibly could do it. Think about it.
Deep.
That feasible part.
Yeah.
Because I kind of believe in the impossible, like even if it's not feasible.
Well, I can't tell you that there's no such thing as impossible, okay? But there are some things dang there right next to it. You're like, wait a minute. You see what I'm saying? But because people have the one thing that I know that people are able to really come to the conclusion is that miracles happen. Okay? Don't believe that they don't. You're like, wait a minute, that's a miracle. How in the world? Right. So with that being said, you have to realize when you're implementing your ideation, it must be something that is doable for you and actually as simple as you possibly could do it. Don't make it too complex. You understand?
Okay.
I mean, okay. I get on the tangent here.
But they're feasible.
So I'm just trying to make the people learn.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
No, that's
you
what Faith Grind Inspire.
Behind.
That's.
I see things happening, but I don't always understand.
Yeah,
why.
You know.
Jeff knows. So, our last question, right? Out of Faith.
Wait, before we go there, James. Oh. You know, I'm in public health. I want you to tell them a little bit about the smoking, quitting smoking.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yes.
Actually, I want you to tell me. I was listening to a podcast that you were a former smoker.
Yeah.
Not now. How did that happen?
Well, I just started to learn a lot of things about the tobacco plant itself that made me say, wait a minute. There's no way that I should be ingesting this type of chemical. There's no way that I should actually be participating in this type of practice, which is smoking tobacco, because there is a certain radioactive chemical that's ingrained into the leaf, right? Polonium-210 it's called. Polonium-210. Polonium-210 is a radioactive substance that's in tobacco, and it's found into a lot of cancer survivors. People who suffer from cancer in their air tracts, in their passageways, and it's not something that I think that I wanted to get, because I was a big tobacco smoker, like cigars,
how long?
For long enough.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. long enough, years. Okay, but then I was ignorant to what's really taking place when you smoke, and the fumes and the things that are changing you. You must do everything in your power to not let pathogenic myotoxins enter your bloodstream. Okay? You must. That's the doctor in me talking.
What do you say to the person who knows that it's bad for them?
See, those are the interesting ones, because you must now talk about risk. The risk of the chances of you now getting cancer is greater than if you are not smoking. And you can't give up on them. You can't give up on them because they're the one that's going to need your help the most. You see what I'm saying? And you have to constantly remind them of the risk that they're facing when they're smoking, the risk that you're facing when you're drinking.
So anything you stop completely, just like that.
Yeah, stop completely.
Overnight.
I'm going to tell you what I do. Anytime I want to stop something, I automatically think and associate it to the worst thing that I could possibly do. And I associate that. And if I go back to do it, I just think about that worst thing. I'm like, that's the worst thing. I don't want to be associated with that. You see what I'm saying? Raping your mother. Yeah. Yeah. That is like the worst thing.
Everybody in the studio just looked up like, what?
Right. Like, would you want to be associated with raping your mother? No. Right. So, tobacco, I would never touch that because I associate that with, like, raping my mother of everything that she has, which is her pride and joy, which is me. I would never do that. So, this is how I make changes in my life.
Damn.
I was interested in that because
with that, Tim walked out of here.
But I was interested because the backstory to me, my law office would be facilitating quit smoking programs. Someone contacted me because their tenants that were smoking and it was affecting like other tenants.
Yeah,
Like the lawyer was like, okay, let's take a look at the lease and, eviction. Mm-hmm. And again, an idea came into my mind and said, well, can you offer them an alternative?
Yeah.
And my dad used to be like the health and temperance leader decades ago, and he's deceased now. he had something called like Smoking Sam, which was a dummy with the chest cavity cut out, and it had glass bottles filled with cotton, and the dummy would smoke, and it would fill up with things like that. So I was like, do we have any program like that? Nobody was doing that program locally, and I don't have a health background or anything, but I was like, if I'm being called to do this, so there's a program called Breathe Free 2. You can go to breathefree2.com and get that information. Looking for 12 people. It's basically, I'll be a facilitator and a support. I don't have the medical background, and we're looking for a group of 12 people. So if 12 people in that area, Mount Vernon, Bronx, White Plains, all of that area, would like to get together because you all are the support. They make it so that the group is not so big that nobody wants to talk, but you're each other's support, because if you're like, oh man, day one was rough, you can talk to somebody else who's going through it. I never smoked. So
I know
all of that. Okay.
It's a thrilling feeling. It's thrilling. People don't understand. Smoking certain tobaccos and cigars, you get an high like you would not believe. You know what I'm saying? And that's when I realized, like, this is chemically changing me from and it's destroying your body, and you should not partake in that.
I like the new Jeff.
I'm not the old Jeff.
Yeah, me too.
But if anyone is interested, please email me at breathefreewithme@yahoo.com.
Yeah.
Remember the E in breathefreewithme@yahoo.com. Let's get a group together, and we'll work on living our best lives.
That's right. So our last question: out of Faith, Grind, Inspire, which word resonates with you?
What a wonderful name.
Thank you.
What a wonderful name.
I know, it's a Boy Genius thing.
Honestly, because you can go through the different phases separately. You can have them all together. I would say at this stage, I'm in my grind stage. If you had caught me a few months back, I would have been in the faith stage where, like, wow, you can really create your reality. You can do all it. I have that now. And now, to me, it's getting a little deeper with things like this, with the Stop Smoking program. They talk about, it's not about lecturing. It's about relationship. Be a support. And, that's taken that's pulling out more from me than before. So I'm in my grind stage.
Grind.
I love it.
Because I've been I've closed some pretty good things. Like, I realize I'm kind of like a closer, and now I need to put the work into the stuff that's on my plate. So that's where I'm at now.
That's what I'm talking about. I like closing. Closing means money.
Yes, absolutely. You're talking to two closers right here.
So I'm in my grind stage now. Yeah.
So with that being said, we want to thank you.
Wait, we got to get the...
No, I know.
Oh,
I know.
I thought we were going to... I'm sorry.
We want to thank you for tuning in to another great episode of the podcast of Faith, Grind, Inspire. Guys, you see this?
I see it. Live.
Guys, so I want to thank you guys for tuning in to another great episode of Faith, Grind, Inspire podcast. And we want to thank you for being on the show.
Thank you.
We look forward to growing with you and continue to inspire us. Thank you for all our listeners. Thank you for all our subscribers. Thank you for our producers, Tim and Brianna.
We love y'all.
Thank you to Cumulus. We appreciate you guys. And let's keep going. 2020, baby.
Make us big.
I'm a family man, entrepreneur, investment property specialist. I am your Brooklyn, Long Island agent who understands the importance of building a strong future for your legacy. Allow me to guide you through your next real estate experience. It's finally time to buy a house and make it your home. First, you'll need a trusted advisor to guide you through the process. In Gene Alert and the Sabre team, you'll find just that with confidence, focus, and tact.
When it's time to list your home, you want to ensure you choose the most resourceful, unwavering team to represent your interests.
Our mission is to help everyone find their place in the world.